welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be my very first story time on my channel, and it's gonna be a story time on how I almost got scammed. Now, I'm generally so careful, but yeah, I almost got scammed. Anyway, look at my hair. I added beads. You can't see them in the frame, so I had to show you. Mad cute. Anyways, let's get into the story. And when I explain it, you will understand how they almost got me. So basically, this is what happened. I go to school, I go to college, and you can do work study. Now, if you do work study, then you get a certain amount towards your tuition for completing that work study, right, for a semester. So I signed up for work study, and I signed up to be emailed to my school email whenever there were any opportunities available, whatever the case may be, right? So wait, where's my necklace? There we go. So I got an email to my school email, okay? My school email. Now the thing about it is, I get a lot of spam emails, scam emails to my regular email and stuff like that. But that's because I understand, because I use my other emails for shopping websites and whatever, and it's easy to get those emails for scams. But this is my school email. This school has a system where they actually can filter out scams on top of the because you know how your mailbox, Gmail, whatever, will filter out scams, but you will still get them in your inbox. On top of that, the school has their own filter. So no, I'm never thinking or double checking any email that comes to my school email. So anyway, this email comes. Now I don't have the email because when I try to pull it up, right, let me show you guys. When I try to pull it up, it doesn't come, and this should be my first flag, because look, it just comes, you can't even see it. Anyway, I will insert a screenshot, but it just says employment opportunity, and it's from Paul Harrison, and the actual word of the email, the subject, not the subject, the body of the email is empty, but they sent a PDF, and the PDF is what has the words in it. So it said hi, my name is Paul Harrison, blah blah blah, I'm looking for a personal assistant for blah blah blah, for how much ever amount. If you're interested, it was please respond with your personal email, right? So of course I responded, and I sent my personal email. Now my first red flag should have been that this person did not write a subject body of an email. They sent a PDF, but then again, it comes to my school email, so I'm not thinking anything of it. So I let it go, and I didn't see anything for a really long time. I forgot about it. Then about a month later, I saw that they responded to me in my email. So I'm like, oh my god, a month passed. They're not gonna oh, let me go in that email. I have that email. I'm like, oh, a month passed, they're not going to respond, I missed out. But I'm just like, oh, let me still respond to see what will happen, right? That should have been my second red flag, because how you have a employment opportunity that you sent to a whole bunch of college students, right? Mind you, it was one guy, one Dr. Paul Harrison, looking for one assistant, right? So he maintained that he wasn't in the country, and you were gonna get paid before whatever it said. But it was one guy looking for one assistant. So a month later, after you send this to a whole bunch of students, I'm thinking that the position is full. But I still responded. See if I can find it. Right, I responded, and that's when they sent me an email. So it said employment approval and instructions. So that was the email that they sent me. They didn't even ask me anything. When I sent my personal email, they sent me this email that says employment approval and instructions. So I'm thinking that, oh, okay, because honestly, you don't really need that much to be a personal assistant. So anyway, it was this is to confirm that you're employed with Dr. Paul Harrison. You will be a personal assistant receiving $320 a week. Now, that should have been the second red flag, because later down in the email, it was like you only work 1 hour a week. Who's paying somebody $320 to work 1 hour a week? But still, I wasn't thinking much of it, because I'm thinking, well, this is government people. They got money. He a doctor. So still, I read the email and it was like, your first task is to see if you can meet the schedule demands. And then he was like, the first assignment, they will send you an email with a check, and that's a form of payment that guarantees faster delivery than mail. And you need to go purchase check paper, right? And then something that caught my attention was, it was like, to receive your fee, take the payment to your bank and have it deposited in your bank for 24 hours. Doing so will make the funds available the next day. And it says, email me a copy of the deposit slip if you can. And then it was like, however, if you don't receive the package before the bank closes, make an ATM deposit so the funds can be available the next day. Now, I'm just like, why are you concerned about whether or not I'm like how I deposit the money? But I still went and sent them my phone number. So this is where we get to the fishy part, right? Now, you know how when you have an iPhone and you texting somebody and they have an Android, or they texting from a text now app that is green. But still, I don't know what, honestly, I don't know what I was thinking. I was still like, it was kind of like I was in two minds about it. So I was like, this is weird, but at the same time, I didn't see the scam yet, because I'm like, they're not asking me for money or anything, so I'm still not understanding. So he texted me and he was like, oh, this is Dr. Paul Harrison regarding the employment. How are you doing today? So I'm like, I'm good. Can you explain to me the schedule and what's expected of the job? Because in the email, it tells you everything about how you're getting paid and all of that, how much you're getting paid, but it doesn't say what you have to do. It just says personal assistant. So he was like, did you receive the instructions for proceeding? I was like, yes, I received the email. And I was like, the email said you were away at the time, so are you in the country now? Because the email said that he was in Australia, and it was a month. So I'm like, are you here now? And I said, would I be working at a physical location? This man does not answer. I asked two questions. I said, are you in the country now, and would you be working from a physical location? He said, you will be working from home. Did you purchase the check paper yet? First of all, I asked you if you're here. Like, you didn't answer my question. Anyways, so I was like, I'm checking the stores near me. He was like, and I was like, I'll pick it up tomorrow. So I'm like, let me go ahead and get the paper, right? So I went to Staples and I told him I purchased it at Staples and I'm gonna pick it up, right? So then I was like, I have a few questions, and I actually did purchase the check paper from Staples, because I like I said, I was in two minds about it, because in my mind I'm like, oh, this must be legit, because they just sell check paper. Like, anybody can buy check paper. I didn't know that. I thought that if it wasn't legit, like, you know, only the banks will have check paper to be able to print checks. But I'm just like, oh, people, you know, who have businesses. And sorry, I had a call. So let's get back to the story time. Fruit punch is the best. Argue with, not me. I wouldn't say your mama because that's rude, but not me. Fruit punch is the best. Anyway, so, oh look, I lost the chat. I'm not a good storyteller. Lord have mercy. So anyway, at this point, right, at this point, I'm googling Dr. Paul Harrison. I'm googling check paper, because I bought the check paper from Staples, but I was like, oh, like, if anybody can buy check paper, then anybody should be able to print checks. Because if you're a small business working from home and you want to pay your employees in checks, then you print out the check and you give them the check. And you know, it's Corona, and I guess they don't have a direct deposit system because it could be a small office. This is all what I'm thinking, you know. That's me trying to reason the craziness. I'm like, oh, you know, it's corona, so they, like, you know, things are different and they don't want to send out mail, or it's a small office and they never set up direct deposit, so they don't have a direct deposit system, and they pay their employees by checks. So instead of them printing out the check and mailing it to you, they just send you the electronic check and you print it out yourself and you deposit it. That's what I'm thinking. But at that point, I Google, and then I was like, let me type in the email, like what's in the email in Google, and that's when I found like phishing emails being sent to college students. So then I went back to the email to check the email, because you know, when somebody sends you an email, it will say, most times it will just say their name, it wouldn't actually say the email. So I don't know what was in my head. Once again, I don't know. When I clicked the email, that thing is lordsubda2@gmail. So your name is Paul Harrison, but your email is lordsubda2@gmail. Anyway, so at this point, I knew it was a scam. So I was like, oh, you're trying to scam me? All right, let's waste your time. So this is what I did, and I knew it was already a scam, but I just wanted to verify that it was a scam, even though I had like 10 red flags, because, you know, first of all, the email was a PDF. Second of all, the first email they sent me was about depositing the check and not even telling me what I have to do. Third of all, I responded a month later and they still had a position available. Oh, excuse me. Fourth of all, it was green text bubbles. Like, I should have known that something was wrong. Fifth of all, they asked me to buy check paper. I should have known. So I will take my L on that. But so I was like, let me ask a few questions. So I was like, what is the name of the agency itself I will be working for? Because remember, he was just like, oh, my name is Paul Harrison and I need a assistant. That was it. There was no business name or anything. I was like, 2, what days of the week and what time would I be working? And this next question I asked specifically to see what they will say, because this will tell everything. I said, do I need to fill out a tax form for this job? I said, 4, on what day of the week will I get paid? 5, will I need to do any training? And 6, can I get a list of responsibilities and tasks that I will be doing, right? So in response to what is the name of the agency, he said, I work at DHHS. And you are only working as my personal assistant. And he said, you can work whatever days you are comfortable with, and you are to work for at least an hour per day. And for number 3, when I said, do I need to fill out a tax form for this job? He said no. So what job in America, right? And I'm not talking about, you know, off the books cash paid job. I'm talking about what job in America that's paying you with a check, and you don't have to fill out taxes, and you don't have to file taxes, and you don't get taxes taken out of your payment. What kind of job is that? Anyways, then I was like, on what day of the week I'll get paid? He said Fridays, and he said no training, meeting only upon arrival. And then he was like, I will let you know furthermore on what assignments you will contain. That was red flag number 20, because at this point you can't even talk English. You're a doctor and you cannot even speak. I will show you guys the screenshot of how he responded to my text message. A hot mess. So then I was like, what does DHHS mean and when do I start? He was like, Department of Health and Services, and he was like, as soon as you have the check paper. So I'm like, okay, I'm picking up the paper today. What's next? Now I never planned on picking up the paper, because after I realized it was a scam, I called and I told them to return it. So I never planned on picking up the paper, but I was just telling him that. And he just wasn't wanting to respond to me. He was just like, let me know when you get the paper. Like, that's all he kept saying. Let me know when you get the paper. So I said, okay. And then a little later that day, I was like, I got the paper. So then he was like, please forward me the check paper type you purchased with the receipt. So I had ordered the paper from online. So I sent him a screenshot, and I'll show you guys the screenshot because it doesn't have any personal information. It doesn't have my name or anything. It just says the order date. It doesn't even have the store that I ordered it at because I also crossed that out. It just has the order date and the information because I did a pickup in store order. So he was like, great, resend your full name and address to me here, and do you have a daily deposit limit for a check transaction? Why are you asking me if I have a daily deposit limit when you're telling me that I'm only getting paid $320 a week? Why do you need to know if I have a daily deposit limit? So then I was like, you have my email. Are you going to email it? Because you have my email. Because I sent you my email. So then he sent me a question mark. So I sent him back a question mark. I was like, when do I start work? He was like, did you get my last message? So I was like, no. He said, I said, forward me your full name and address again. I said, email address? He said, via text, home address. I said, what's that for? He was like, how do you want the check forwarded to you? I said, I thought that's what the printing paper was for. So you're going to mail it? So I said, don't I get the check on Friday? What days of the week do I have to work? I need to know what I have to do. So then he was like, the check will be sent to you for your first assignment. Your weekly $320 payment will not be sent to you yet. So I'm like, what first assignment? How much is it for the first assignment? So then I'm like, can I get an update? Will you be sending me a check? Because at this point he stopped responding. So I think that was the next day. He was like, did you forward me your full name and address yet? So I said yes, in email. I didn't send him no email. He said, I didn't receive it. Kindly send it to me over here via text. I was like, I keep sending it. Can you just send my check? This man said, send it to me via text with 3 exclamation marks. So I'm like, I did, with 3 exclamation marks too, because who you exclaiming at? You the scammer, not me. So then he was like, I didn't receive anything. So I'm like, okay, I'll call you. And I did. He was like, okay. And I did call the number, and it was like, this text now subscriber cannot pick up your call, blah 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 blah. And that was the end of the conversation. And I wasted his time because you wasted my time. And I contacted my school because, first of all, how y'all have people sending me scam emails? Like, come on, come on. So yeah, guys, that was the time that I almost but didn't get scammed. Anyways, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.